show you how to do Cornell notes for the World History textbook. For Cornell notes, there are three parts. There are the key points that go on the left-hand side and the details that go on the right-hand side. You might think about this as main idea and details. Down at the bottom of the page is a summary. This is where you write a whole paragraph of at least 3 to 4 sentences of what is summarized in your notes above. So up above, we don't use any sentences. We mostly use abbreviations and phrases, while down below, we use complete sentences. I'm using a worksheet that's found on K-12 in the announcements section of your world history, but you can also make your own just as simply and use it in a notebook. So you can see I've got my title up here, my key idea details. In order to draw this out, I took the red line and just added 3 fingers across. Went down about 3/4 of the way and wrote summary down at the bottom, giving myself plenty of lines to write my summary. Either way is fine. You might also take notes digitally, which is fine, but you'll still want to take them in the 2-column method or Cornell notes method. Now I'm going to show you my paper to start with so you can see what I did. Over here, on the key point side, I put the headers of the text. So if you look at the book, let's get that centered for you. If you look at the book, it starts out with all of this information and there's no title. So I just called that introduction. And I gave a couple of definitions that were in the text. Then you'll see that you come to some bolded words. That's called a header. I put the header on the left-hand side of my paper, read through those paragraphs, and put some notes. I continued on the next page because that header still applies to this paragraph. Then I continued reading. I found another header, overcoming ice and shaping stone. Put it on my notes. Continued writing my notes as I read through. And then finally, I had one more header, human beings on the move. Now, if you look at these sections, some of them are very long. This overcoming ice and shaping stone section is about 9 paragraphs long. If you look at each paragraph, you can probably find the main idea. The main idea is really the details of your notes. Okay, so the header over here, that's the header in the text. The details is looking at each paragraph and finding the main idea. What is the most important part of that paragraph? So if I take a look over here and I see this paragraph, it says, the paintings of Lascaux Grotto, as the cave is now known, were made sometime between 1500 and 1300 BC. This was during the last major ice age. The Earth's temperatures had dropped and vast sheets of ice had spread out from ice caps in the North Pole. The ice shrouded more than a quarter of the Earth's land surface. In some places, it was almost 2 miles deep. Beyond the ice sheets lay semi-frozen tundra, steppe, and where long, bitter winters thawed to short, cool summers. So I picked out 2 pieces of information from this. First, whenever I see dates in history, I always like those to be in my notes. So I wrote down that is when, just about when Lascaux Grotto was made. And then also I talked about the Ice Age a little bit. Then I get down and I read the next paragraph. Large herds of animals, the bulls and horses painted in the picture of Lascaux Cave, roamed across the forbidding landscape. Other large creatures strode in the steppe as well. Bison, mammoths, magnificent 2-horned woolly rhinoceroses, and giant deer with antler span of 10 feet or more. I can sum that up by saying there were large herd animals during the Ice Age. Okay, so I'm not going to list off every single one. I'm just going to summarize it. What's the main idea? And you can go through this textbook on your own, and you can continue to see that there are more headings and more places to write your notes. For the early man unit, you'll go all the way to the first Americans and take a look. And then Unit 3 begins with moving to Mesopotamia. So for Unit 1, there's not a ton of notes to take. Sorry, Unit 2, there's maybe 3 or 4 pages, but you should have nice looking notes that help you to study. Then when you go to write your summary, you're going to take what you had up above and you're going to write it into sentence paragraph form. So this one says, prehistory is before there is a written record. 4 boys discovered cave art that tells about prehistoric times. Stone Age people lived in small nomadic communities to hunt and gather food. This is all important information that I got from reading this section of text and taking notes. So now you know how to take Cornell notes. It will be the expectation for science, social studies, and English. In math, I believe you can take any kind of notes that you want. If you have any questions, reach out to me by email at molly.felton@ops.org.